What's going on, fight fans? I'm back here with another video here set for you guys. Gonna be going in depth and breaking down this card, that being the UFC Fight Night Kansas City card, headlined by Carlos Prates versus Ian Machado Garry. And starting off the card, we have Chelsea Chandler versus Jocelyn Edwards. Chelsea Chandler, she's lost to Norma Dumont, and then after that, she beat Josiane Nunez, who looks to have a lot of power on the ground. Chelsea Chandler is more known for her grappling. And then recently after that, she lost to Yana Santos. And Jocelyn Edwards has been a UFC vet for quite some time as of right now. She's lost to Nora Cano and Alien Perez, who as of right now, both of those fighters in the bantamweight division for the women has been streaking. But after that, she got a submission victory over Tamines Vidal. In this matchup, I like Jocelyn Edwards a lot more. She's just a better, in my opinion, overall fighter compared to Chelsea Chandler, whether it be with the grappling, whether it be the stand-up. I got Jocelyn Edwards with the victory. And moving on up the card, we got Jacqueline Mormon versus Polian Viana. I'm not really predicting this fight. I don't really care. Man, look at that, man. Look at that on your screen, man. Are you kidding me? Kidding me? You telling me that's not probably the two best looking gals in the UFC we got as of right now? Keeping it family friendly. I do not want to get demonetized. I'd rather not see them fight. I'd rather see them do other things or probably hug it out for the rest of the card. Moving on up the card, we got Malcolm Wellmaker versus Cameron Simon. Malcolm Wellmaker, he's making his UFC debut off the Dana White Contender Series KO win that he has. He's been through the regional season, is an undefeated fighter. I've seen some of his stuff that he has on social media. He looks aight. He looks pretty good. And then Cameron Simon was an undefeated prospect until he ran into the prospect killer himself, Christian Rodriguez, who took him down, came in over the limit weight with C-Rod, but whatever. And then after that, before he got fraud checked, Mr. Peyton Talbot put an absolute whooping on Cameron Simon. Took a year off to be able to recover for this matchup coming in as of right now. Cameron Simon, I believe, has a lot more to be able to offer, even though Malcolm Wellmaker is, trying to be able to impress, make his UFC debut, make it really, really well. Cameron Simon, I believe, has a lot more experience than somebody like a Malcolm Wellmaker. Wants to be able to put his career back on the right track. Malcolm Wellmaker's want to be able to come in and impress. I'm going to go with Cameron Simon as the victor in this one. Close competitive fight in the bantamweight division. I can see it really going either way because Malcolm Wellmaker has some subs in his bag, has some KOs, has like 6 finishes on his record. But I'm going to go with Cameron Simon in this one. And moving on up the card, we have Damon Blackshear versus Alateng Healy. Damon Blackshear has lost, as of recently of note, to Mario Batista and Montel Jackson's dudes that are already ranked in the bantamweight division that are really, really well touted. They're on their way up to the division as of right now. But as of right now, he's on a 2-fight sub streak over Cody Stamann and Cody Gibson. He literally got that submission victory a month ago. That's insane. Alateng Healy has lost to Chris Gutierrez, but after that is coming off a decision win over Clayton Rodriguez. I'm going to go with Damon Blackshear. Has the power, has the submission ability over Alateng Healy. Alateng Healy's competition that he's gone against has not been anything of note in the UFC. I think Damon Blackshear gets the victory pretty easily in this matchup. And moving up the card, we got Matt Schnell versus Jimmy Flick. I thought the man retired, but Matt Schnell, as of right now, is on a 3-fight losing streak, losing to Matthias Nicolau, Steve Erceg, and Cody Durden, all by finishes. Nicolau and Erceg knocking him out, and Cody Durden getting the sub. And Jimmy Flick is coming off a loss to Nate Menez. He's also lost to Charles Johnson and Alexander Costa, but he has the submission victory over Malcolm. Forgetting the rest of his name. But yeah, he has a submission victory over Malcolm. Not really, as of great. I mean, Matt Schnell is very technical and pretty good on the feet and on the ground. His issue is that he's just very, very chinny, and I don't think Jimmy Flick has the capabilities to be able to put him out at all. So if Matt Schnell has gone to this low level, then yeah, maybe he should be retiring for sure. But in this matchup, I think he gets the victory over Jimmy Flick. Jimmy Flick is just absolutely garbo. Garbanzo. Like, he's trash compared to Matt Schnell. At least Matt Schnell is, feasible. Like, he's actually technically a good fighter on the feet. And moving on up the card, we have Ikram Aliskerov versus Andre Muniz Ikram took a nice 10 months layoff after that KO loss to Robert Whitaker. A really nice layoff for him, and the bump up in competition for him, as we can obviously see, was a lot. Was a very big step up. Andre Muniz is coming off a split win decision over John Young Park. But he has taken about a year and a half after that fight. These guys were supposed to fight each other twice, and they both have been canceled for whatever odd reason. But Ikram Maliskarov is going to get back on track. He's going to get this victory over Andre Muniz, who's pretty good with the grappling and the submissions and the BJJ. On the feet, he's kind of okay with the boxing, but Ikram Maliskarov is definitely going to get the victory over Andre Muniz. I'm moving on to the sleeper of the card, in my opinion. We got Randy Brown versus Nicholas Dalby. Randy Brown is coming off a close split decision loss to Brian Battle, where Brian Battle really had to make it really a clenched fist type of fight because of it being on the outside and it just being a kickboxing Muay Thai type of fight. Randy Brown was giving Brian Battle a lot of issues. And Nicholas Dalby is coming off a split decision loss against Renat Fereknikov. A lot of people have a lot of split decisions lost to Renat. Even though, warranted, I did think Renat actually did win this matchup against Nicholas Dalby. Nicholas Dalby is an absolute dog. He's a problem to be able to deal with. Both of these guys have wins over Muslim Saglikov. Nicholas Dalby has a victory over Gabriel Bonfim when he was on that 4-fight win streak in his career. If it stays on the feet, Nicholas Dalby could be able to make it really, like a problem. Him just going in, having the power. But it staying on the outside, it being technical, Randy Brown obviously has the advantage. With the grappling and the takedowns, Nicholas Dalby could be able to mix it up and make it really rough and gritty type of fight. I think he's definitely expecting to be able to push that pace against somebody like Randy Brown. But Randy Brown, working on the takedown defense, him keeping things on the feet, keeping things on the outside. This one's a really great matchup. It could really go either way, in my honest opinion. I'm going to go with Randy Brown on this one. I think he's able to just keep things on the feet, have the takedown defense, and the wherewithal through all that. But I can definitely be able to see Nicholas Dalby getting a victory in this one as well. And moving on up the card, we have Michel Pereira versus Abus Magomedov. Both of these guys are literally of the same build. They have about one round of a gas tank and a lot of power. So they look really, really good in that first round. And then after that, especially recently for Michel Pereira, it is just downhill from there. Abus Magomedov, as of right now, is on a 2-fight win streak. Last time out, he got that submission victory over Bruno Ferreira. Very good win for him, but even though I did think that Bruno Ferreira was on his way to get a victory over that, so Abus was really pushing hard to be able to get that submission victory to really clinch in the win for him. And Michel Pereira is coming off a huge loss to Fluffy Hernandez, where he completely gassed out, was getting dominated on the ground and pound to absolutely every other town in Brazil, in the United States. I mean, Michel Pereira wasn't able to do anything after that first round. It was very, very, worrying type of performance, in my opinion, from Michel Pereira. Hopefully, he's able to work in his gas tank. Same thing you could say for Abus Magomedov. Again, these dudes have the same type of issues. A lot of power in their hands, just have enough gas for that first round. And if it is going to be in this first round, I will go with Michel Pereira. He is a brick house. He was really hard to be able to take down. It had to be technical for Fluffy Hernandez to be able to get the takedowns against Michel Pereira. Just strength on strength, it's not going to happen. Dude is an absolute tank. Abus Magomedov has the capabilities to be able to do so, but he really likes to be able to have his fights be on the feet. Both of these guys are explosive. I just think Michel is more explosive on the feet and has just an inch more, or maybe just 20% more of the power advantage onto his side. I'm going to go with Michel Pereira in a KO victory over Abus Magomedov. And moving on up the card, we have Giga Chikadze versus David Onama. Giga Chikadze, as of right now, is coming off a loss to Arnold Allen. But earlier in his career, and this has been some time from it, he has won over Cub Swanson, Jamal Emmers, Edson Barboza, some old wily vets that as of right now, those wins kind of are aging a little bit like wine. Not the greatest wine, but some decent, okay wine. But besides that, he's also lost to Calvin Kattar. David Onama is on a 3-fight win streak as of right now. Not the highest levels of dudes that are coming in there. Both of these guys are tremendous strikers. In my opinion, Giga Chikadze has an advantage in terms of the kicks and explosivity of that. David Onama's a really good striker as well. He hasn't had the real good competition, but he is on the up and up. Giga Jikadze has a ranking, and he is kind of falling down later in his career. He is getting older. Can he be able to keep that same type of pace and, you know, pressure against a guy like a David Onama, who again is really good with the striking, but the competition hasn't been as of note. So this is a really like tough pick to be able to go with. Um, Man, this one's rough. I can really see it go either way. I'm gonna go with David Onama, like barely younger dude. Is a great striker. I think he can be able to negate. I think Giga Jikadze is going to have a tremendous first round. If David Onama was able to get through that first round, I think he'd be able to push a pace on Giga Jikadze, be able to eventually start walking him down. He doesn't have the type of boxing as like a Calvin Kattar or like a Arnold Allen, but he is really good and versatile with his striking. So I think David Onama, with the younger man coming against a Giga Jikadze, really good win on his resume. I think he's looking forward to it as well, being on the feature fight on the main card. I'm going to go with David Onama. Moving on to the co-main event we have, which should be an absolute slaughterhouse. Ming Yang Zhang or Zhang Ming Yang, however you want to say it, versus Anthony Lionheart Smith. Anthony Smith is going to get taken out back and is going to get a shotgun blast right to the back of the skull, man. Anthony Smith is been, as of recently, looking horrendous. His performance against Dominic Reyes was bad. His performance against Roman Dolidze, a middleweight coming up to light heavyweight, was atrocious. And Ming Yang Zhang, man, has just been KOing dudes left and right, man. And he's looking to take another name, and the next name that he's going to be able to get is Anthony Smith, and it's going to be real, real easy. Unfortunate for him. And moving on to the main event, the headliner, Ian Machado Garry versus Carlos Prates. The Fighting Nerds are on a streak as of right now, and boy, are they streaking. Carlos Prates is coming in on a 4-fight win streak into the UFC. As of note, the last time he was in there, he went against Neil Magny, passed the Neil Magny test, got a real nice KO over Neil Magny, hitting and just clipping the side of his head and knocking him down pretty easily. And Carlos Prates has just been on a complete tear in the welterweight division. And you have Ian Machado Garry. Before the matchup with Shavkat Rakhmonov, was an undefeated fighter in the rankings. But shout out to Ian Garry. I don't like the cookholdery that he's on, but he has a set of nutsack somewhere. You know, taking the late replacement was matched up with Joaquin Buckley in the UFC Tampa card, but then goes in to go against Shavkat Rakhmonov in the co-main event. You know, winner of it all gets the number one contender's title shot, coming in on like 2 weeks' notice or like 3 weeks' notice to get in the Shavkat fight, making it really tough for Shavkat. Shavkat had it like a atrocious performance. Ian Garry wasn't as of best of note in that fight as well, but was really, really close. Has made strides into his grappling, and BJJ damn near got the RNC over a guy like Shavkat, who is an absolute just destroyer, the boogeyman of the welterweight division, and made him look very, very human in that matchup. Ian Garry is really known for his striking. You know, the kickboxing ability that he has is really, really good, but it has been slowing down as of note. He has, you know, started to build more of a well-roundedness game. You know, again, working with the Truth to Box, working with Charles Oliveira, and getting the BJJ, you know, really into the groove of things. He really showcased that first against MVP. That's how he won that victory, because he couldn't really be able to stand up with MVP. MVP was creating all types of issues on the feet for Ian Garry. So Ian Garry had to take him down, had to threaten with the subs, had to be able to do the work on the ground to be able to get that victory over MVP. And he took that confidence with the BJJ into the Shavkat fight, which really showcased even more leaps and bounds step that he's having in. But Carlos Prates, man, another nightmare matchup, man, for Ian Garry. I thought Shavkat was going to knock out Ian Garry in that matchup, or I thought he was going to at least beat him the hell up. And in this one, it being just purely with the striking, I think this is going to be another case for Ian Garry wanting to be able to implement that same game plan that he had against MVP, where he mixes in the takedowns, mixing in the grappling, gets the bag taken, potentially getting the sub. That's the way, in my opinion, he's able to get a victory over a Carlos Prates. Because, again, I do think that his kickboxing game has been lacking. He hasn't looked the same in terms of his explosivity and his quickness in terms of his kicks and his hands. And he also has a P head. He's had been chin checked before, and he has been dropped before as well. Carlos Prates is just a sniper on the feet, man. His confidence that he exudes, the aura that he has, is just on another level as of right now. And if Ian Garry just wants to be able to have this fight and is content with it just being a stand-up fight, I could be able to see Ian Garry put out a performance like recently, as of note, that we can remember. Lerone Murphy against Josh Emmett, kind of just pitter-pattering, not really wanting to engage a lot in a lot of exchanges with the power puncher, trying to invade and try to evolve and try to move around. But the issue is that Carlos Prates is not Josh Emmett whatsoever. He is an absolute monster with the Muay Thai and kickboxing game. He will walk you down. He will walk you into shots. He has the knee capability of being a Muay Thai type of Muay Thai fighter. The knees up the middle, the low kicks, the left hand in the southpaw stance. Man, Carlos Prates is an issue to be able to deal with. And if his takedown defense, as shown in the Neil Magny matchup, is actually something that is true and something that's real, that's able to, get him to shrug off these type of grapplers trying to be able to mix in the grappling and try to tire him out. Also, again, Carlos Prates, known for smoking all those goddamn cigarettes, going into his first time ever matchup in a 5-round fight. If it goes 5 rounds, there's a lot of many factors into this fight. I can see this fight going a lot of ways. But what I'm going to go to is Carlos Prates getting a KO victory over Ian Garry. Ian Garry, man, shout out to him. He has a huge nutsack. Again, I don't know where it is, but it's there somewhere. It's probably in his wife's purse. But, taking these short matchups, saving these cards. I mean, in my honest opinion, this matchup is a lot better and more entertaining than Jamal Hill versus Khalil Roundtree, which I still think we should get, which is a good matchup in my opinion. But this as a main event is, I wouldn't say leaps and bounds. It's not a lot better, but it is better, 100%. Especially with the hype of Carlos Prates and the Fighting Nerds. Yeah, this is going to be tremendous. If Ian Garry can pull it off, I can see him pulling it off. I can see him mixing it in, or I can see him just, staying on the outside and just trying his best to be very technical with the lateral movement and just outpointing Carlos Prates, maybe. But Carlos Prates is also lanky, the reach, the height as well. They're kind of just, it negates it itself. They're kind of both tall and lanky type of dudes. I think Carlos Prates might have a reach advantage over Ian Garry, which is something to be able to say. But yeah, I'm going to go with Carlos Prates. I think the takedown defense is real. I think the Fighting Nerds are real. I think especially showing what Gene Silva just did to Bryce Mitchell. If they're showing that in their camp, they're exuding that type of energy and that type of aura farming that they're using as of right now. And if it stays on the feet, Ian Garry, it is capable of keeping it on the outside and keeping it very technical. But eventually, Carlos Prates will catch you. Same with Gene Silva. Same thing with Mauricio Ruffy. Same thing with Kyle Barajo. They will eventually catch you. And when they do catch you, they have dynamite in their hands to leave your ass laying on the canvas, looking up at the lights, wondering where the hell am I as of right now. And I think that's what's going to happen. So, again, I'm going to go with Carlos Prates in a KO victory over Ian Machado Garry. But, again, I can see it go either way. Like this video if you obviously like the video. Comment your opinions on what you think is going to happen on this card, especially in the main event. It is really a toss-up. Really, really tough matchup. Great matchup. Great matchmaking by the UFC. Time to give them some type of credit because most of the time it is pretty atrocious with their matchmaking. And subscribe, UFC fans. If you're here for a reason, obviously. And I'm here giving you what you want. And why not give me what I want? You know what I'm saying? Hit that subscribe button. You see it. Come on. You see it, brother. Thank you guys again for watching again. And peace.